Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a psychic reading on Donald Trump Jr. This is probably very unanticipated. Some people may have wanted this reading. I have held back on it, but due to the recent events that have taken place on The View, where he went against was it Joy and Whoopi? He did go against them, and kind of when they talked about his dad. So there was some obvious sensitive points here. This is the son of Donald Trump. He is he was married. He does have several children. And so I'm going to be giving you the insight that I see connected to him, how he views his father, etc. Like, I immediately am going to say this, that a lot of people would think that he shows favoritism for his father. I don't see that being the case. I feel like Donald Trump Jr. has a mind of his own. He doesn't agree with everything that his father does, and he kind of is tired of having to deal with all of the stress and the things that his father has said or has done in the past, and this being associated with him, because he is not his father, obviously, but he is the son of the father. So there's always going to be this kind of while Trump is in office, there's going to always be this kind of negativity spewing towards Donald Trump Jr. And these are triggers, when they talk about your family. This is be just for anyone. I'm not defending him, but for anyone in general, this would be a trigger. If they talk about your mother, they talk about your father. These are obvious triggers, etc., that are going to be there. It's going to cause some feelings of animosity or not being comfortable, even though it should be handled in a civilized manner. He also, I feel like, wanted to say more on the show, but he held back due to the fact that he knew that he was being viewed by millions of viewers or thousands of viewers, and on a television set. It's not a good look on him. So I feel like, he kind of tried to hold back, but there was some other stuff that he definitely wanted to say, and it was probably discussed off camera, not on camera. When it comes to him, I feel like I said, he has different viewpoints than his siblings, etc. I don't feel like he necessarily agrees with his father all the time, but he is going to support his father's name. And so anyone that comes for his father, he's going to come for them, obviously. So he is somewhat loyal to Donald Trump Sr., but there is a sense that he has his own kind of mentality, everything else. I feel like he is someone that, is very business minded, and so he has a lot of business opportunities that he is going to gravitate towards. I see a lot of real estate, a lot of planning. He has plans once Donald Trump Sr. is no longer POTUS, basically. I see him, kind of wanting to go in a more business route like his father, but he's not going to go into political. I don't see him wanting to gravitate in the footsteps of his father and ever run into a political like presidency. Obviously, I don't see that. I feel like he is very much a little bit more different when it comes to viewpoints, even though he does identify himself as a Republican. I see a lot of scandals around him. There's a lot of anger and temperament that he needs to control, because I feel like these are things that we don't see all the time, but his father, and his mother, and just people around him, his own siblings, may notice that Donald Trump Jr. has some issues. This could be more on his side of, being privileged or having, things always handed to him in some kind of way. It's almost like, how would I describe this? He has been the shadow of his father for so long. Not only is he named after him and is a junior, but he kind of has, is living the shadow of his father. And when I talk about that being his father's shadow, it's almost like they, again, like I said, in public interviews or in any kind of social media, basically, they are always going to bring the father, and the things that he's done to light and compare him to his father in many ways. And I feel like this is kind of like where he's gonna be acting out. He's gonna be in the headlines. He's gonna create scandals and things like that that may be more self-created by his team to get a distinction out there. I feel like he's very smart when it comes to business stuff, but I feel like there's still a lot of room and areas of opportunities for growth here. I see him having a lot of decisions but being at a standstill. It's almost like Donald Trump Sr. doesn't want him to act, even though he has the ability to make his own decisions regarding business matters, that he cannot act. It's almost like his hands are tied. And I see Donald Trump Jr. working harder, and trying to continue the family legacy, continuing to have money, established money, there is a lot of enemies he has created along the way. And this is Democrats. This is even Republicans, even people in the office. Like, there's people that are against him and his family and the president of the United States. There's a lot of enemies that are very close in that area. So for Donald Trump Jr., I feel like for him, it's all about him having focus on his kids, he wants a family again. I feel like that's his point, and I see him over the next year or so trying to establish more of a relationship with his kids, kind of doing more focus on that. But I see also that he may have some kind of situation that arises where he is going to be going in and out of relationships. Like, he could remarry again, very possible. I do see that in the future for him. He's not going to stay a bachelor forever. However, the problem is that I think he's going to have that stigma attached to him, and I see a lot of problems with women, a lot of things kind of being repeated, the things that his father has done with women, towards women, and treated them with, he may be doing the same thing, and it's almost like a generational curse in many ways. But he is going to try to break away. Deep down in the inner psyche of Donald Trump Jr., I see a lot of inner turmoil. I see a lot of vulnerability. It's almost like there is a point where he has, like I said, anger, and it's like not dealing with it appropriately. It can cause in the future health problems and health issues, and it can cause him to act erratically. I see him fighting people, other celebrities, other people that are business people in the business world, and just trying to get ahead in some kind of way and create his name, which it kind of stands away and not follow in the father's footsteps. But no matter how far he tries to get, it's very exhausting, and he's always going to have a stigma attached to him due to his father. So he's never going to be able to fully remove that shadow, that follows the family, and it plagues the family. I see, also like in the future, like a third party relationship, him being involved with someone and then also another person. So again, there's going to be questions regarding his loyalty and his fidelity when it comes to females and establishing a relationship. I feel like, for him, he may have this mentality that, he's not doing anything wrong. And so until he kind of takes accountability for the things that he does and the things that he says and what, how he treats people, this is going to be a cycle that's going to continue to happen and continue to bring him discord and no peace in his love life. There may be a brief moment, where he is at peace and he is happy and he is with a partner, and he remarries. But then again, it's going to continue. There's a possibility that he will be a father again in the next 3 years or so to another child. Again, this is just depending on him, on where he wants to go. There is, I feel like he's going to have to take a risk. There's something about, him planning. This could be like buying properties overseas, or making business agreements and with other companies overseas, something about textiles, etc. There is some business dealings that he would have in another country, and owning a lot of properties and stuff, and I don't know why or what the connection is to South America, but it would be, if it's not South America, it is a location in the world where their cost of living to buy properties is like so minimal, and I see him kind of owning some properties there and either renting them out, etc. So it's very interesting when I get into Donald Trump Jr. He has a lot of future-oriented plans, a lot of goals. I see him changing over time and becoming more softer. He thinks more with his left side of his brain. Apparently, that's what Spirit is saying, and that's what I see here. There is some goodness in him, beyond all of the stuff that is in his mind. There is goodness to Donald Trump Jr. I'm not saying that there's not goodness in Donald Trump Sr., but I'm saying that there is some emotions that he doesn't show in him, that he does have, and he really does care about people, but it's just like constant psychic attack, constant attack from people, etc. And so he lashes out, and again, the anger management and the volatile energy that surrounds him is coming more from the attacks on his family as a whole. It's like when you come for him, and when you come for one of his family members, you're coming for him. And so he takes it very personal, and that's something he's going to have to work on, because again, if not, he's going to follow in his father's footsteps. And I feel like he doesn't want to be known as that person. He doesn't want to be held into that part. There is going to be some, if there isn't already, between him and his siblings, there is a disconnection. There is family trouble in the presidency itself, in the actual family inner workings. There are problems already. That is a given. I feel like they don't all see eye to eye. There is a lot of discord, bickering on how they should be living their life, etc. I feel like he has tried to tell his sisters, how to live their lives, or females. I do get females. He may have even told, Trump's wife, how to do something. But there is definitely strong opinions that he has. For him, like I said, he's going to always kind of look over his shoulder in some kind of ways, not feeling at peace, because again, he's created enemies. And what is very important to take away from this reading, is that if he continues to go down this route where he is, constantly having to be aggressive on TV, or constantly having to be aggressive on social media, etc., he's creating a lot of enemies that will always kind of haunt him in certain ways, and they're always going to be like laughing and saying, ha ha ha, you're Donald Trump's son, and you are defending this man, etc. So I definitely feel like, he is going to gravitate towards a different route in the future. It won't be a political route, but there will be more of the business workings of his father, and real estate, and maybe even in TV, some TV work with celebrities, etc., that he would be more interested in doing. They also show me him, going out on a yacht, and I don't know if this is off the coast of Florida, which I feel like it is in Florida, and he needs to be careful, because I feel like there could be a malfunction with one of the boats there. I don't know what this is, how it's coming through from Spirit, but there is some problems with a boat, or someone being on the boat that's not supposed to be there. And these are things that they will need to look into, that I am getting from Spirit. I don't know if he has a stalker, like a female stalker, but that's also coming through very strongly, that there is someone that has stalking. He needs to be very careful, because I feel like there would be a female in the in the presidential, or in the, in that kind of area around the president and the family, that could speak out eventually, and maybe it would be a lie, but some kind of fabrication, some kind of story against Donald Trump Jr. and his tendencies and his way, of being, and it coming for him more from a sexual standpoint, maybe blaming him of sexual harassment, etc. So these are the things that Donald Trump Jr. needs to watch for. I feel like for him, it's all about work, but he needs to kind of disconnect from that, reconnect to his inner child, and do things that would bring a smile to his face and bring happiness. You cannot always have business and no pleasure, and have no happiness, and I feel like that's where his father is kind of more into the business mindset, and really has kind of molded his children to be kind of like him. And deep down, who Donald Trump Jr. is someone that is very much like youthful and wanting to reconnect to that side of his life. So this is what I see and what I hear from Spirit. Please keep it very, very very, what's the word I'm looking for? Please keep it in the comments very civilized and very clean, because anything that's negative, I will be blocking people, etc. Don't come for me in the comments if you're, thinking that I'm against Donald Trump Jr. I'm not for or against anyone. This is just my comments, my commentary, my opinions, my insight from Spirit. So it's not that deep. Don't take it personal, like I'm going for Republicans, or I'm going against Democrats, or I'm going against someone, because that's not what it is. I just felt very drawn to read about Donald Trump Jr. A lot of you have asked. I will be doing one eventually on Ivanka, etc. So blessings and love and light. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are in the world.